I don't know how many years we've done forward to tonight. I love going out and hunting a lot. But if you would please do that for the officers that were. Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Silence. And just important to manage expectations on what we actually heard from Tom was going to have a wonderful presentation for us this evening. Think of some good questions for him. After Tom, Austin hunts coyotes around here well. And then after both, they're willing to answer. Federal Game Commission. Because after they're done, right over here at the end, and then we'll have you please stay after the game. Shout out. We are having a concealed carry class on October 16th. So if you have not signed up for our concealed up, it's going to be right here at 6 o'clock on October 16th. This is so it's a really wonderful class. Seminar.
Because we're going to talk about a species, one species that really surrounding it, and I want to try. We start our story. This is an ancient story and generations. The story starts. And he can through the grass. He sits down, and as yelling, coyote a monster to the mountain. Mountains. Came back, and he said, with my friend, walks in, friends are still there, fire at the nose. The monster dies, his mouth opens, and all of his friends run out. So Coyote beat the landscape. Onto the other side of a people group. Of heart, and Fox said, Coyote. And so Coyote took water, created and so when we think about in many of Indian with human coyote, idea of a vicious killing predator coming at that time, and so when we look at what happened and how did the eastern coyote come about, but it's called railroads and houses and mills, but we also need was built on in Europe, ag fields. Western. Now, there's evidence that prehistory, we removed those wolf or the gray wolf began to move east. Relatively quickly, we saw Pennsylvania. Coyotes go up through and cross into New York's meat. eastern part of Presque Isle, PA where I'm from. It gets struck and then for Presque Isle and been killed through harvest or a variety of other coyote traveled over 60 miles to how these are able traveled over 60 miles to how these are able and so I thought that was a have a lot what the number one diet item is of the coyote. Have a lot what the number one diet item is of the coyote. Birds. White-tailed deer that they're killing a lot of our deer. During hunting season, and coyotes take advantage of all winters in Pennsylvania. Can anybody guess what the number one predator is? Number two, followed by bobcat. For the other study, it was bobcat coyote. But the good thing is, population within the deer. We see rodents. We also see some larger animals. So we see some birds, groundhogs. Rabbits. And remember, we talked about seeds different times of the year, and we all a variety of other human. Now let's walk through human. Now let's walk through. But what we see in mid to late winter is they start to, unless something happens to one of the two, on average about 10 miles square. If they have cover go, it actually gets much bigger. It's two, a breeding pair, or usually female. Unrelated female and we'll see why late February ends in that area and her home. Or it may be just a rock pile has between 3 and 5 young. Only are the non-breeding, and so they give them to another to mouth. Start into early fall. And we start to see as we go time of the year for coyotes as we traveling through different home ranges looking for mates, constant human caused or getting hit a little bit older time and they're on the Pennsylvania. It's often related to or lamb operation. A lot of coyotes will readily take advantage. Our agency, we work some of these issues. Main ways is guard animals. Animals into buildings. Using drones that are harassing people in their wild. Pennsylvania, heard thing wrong. Important. 300 that same trend. We see down near Harris. Seeing coyote. That's why learning to live with coyotes. It's data here is populous there because data here is populous there because they can, and they're using tunnels, trains, railway. Pennsylvania, but we do in other places in the Northeast with even more babies or babies or babies or and then they will in Pennsylvania. Because there are three things. Two is erected, and we try to kill them, coyotes, for decades, and they are not doing. Research is that the in a litter. And then we see much larger 60 miles start moving. Since we first had coyotes, now they've learned over time, and now they're here to stay. To see that same trend. That we saw with complaints. There's things. And we 2005 harvest levels. The western side, right in the dead center of the state, are our highest. These are probably places you want to. How tough these animals. Of some folks driving. Immediately, they ran over. Lodged up underneath the engine if there was any damage. So they pulled some pieces out when they got. Like that, not quite. Helps them survive. So going over. Living the strategies are really not feeding. We may, but what we see are disease. This causing a lot of issues, not just same with garbage. It's trying to get us to underneath our sheds. Clean. That's one we all. And then we see pets on a leash. Especially around urban and Pennsylvania. I haven't seen many attacks. Breeding season, an eye on your pets. To people. Coming up on the deck, trying with water, a variety of and it worked. The first is that they're helping. The gray wolf left. A variety of ways. Have the ability to chew up. We have in Pennsylvania. It's very effective. Predators, raccoon mesopredators. Like limes, because they're consuming a lot of diseased animals. Just prey population, so important. Prey population's healthy population that will continue. Says thank you for attending and
about my I did a good equipment and being female how if I came in paint a story as this and that. Attract anything in the area and see what's yips. Yips. Season. They're born. Clouds are going to be affecting them along with the assisting and prey sound. Anywhere. Depends. So you can get in touch action, bring up the attack sound. Oh, bill sounds. There, the pups. Attention to the time. This is not a normally hunt coyotes. This pups get big. At this time of year, not a little summer. The big. Productive you. Be careful if you have a lot of deer in the area. Used to this. Be careful if you have a lot of deer in the area. Used to this. They're gonna. Seeing extra calls, a bunch of different. There's all sorts of. Sounds so stress that I really. Sounds so stress that I really. do I shoot? I called 5 all in another. It just, I highly recommend knowing once you see really get them better hunt. You got to be. I did as Kai warning. Probably smell you. They're going 10 yards with that. Found me until they hadn't factor. That way, not hunting. I tend is absolutely beautiful. Gonna hunt too. This one here was definitely a pretty cool hunt. And with a base mag, I time because why really don't need it. And great thing about electronic call, following a mouth call, they're going to be looking in your direction. Have many places to hunt, so hey, I want chances of you educating the coyotes and them not coming used to things, they get used to sounds, not going to be comfortable with the area, and you're not going to be successful. Hunt those spots as least, and what I mean by impatience is coyotes at 300 yards. Most start shooting. I know it's exciting, but hunting, just see what they do. That's so gear to consider. Saying the better gear you have, the better possibility. Night vision, red light. And killing coyotes. Electronic calls on where the call is, so you're going to be more successful. Has those sounds, so invest. And then a good tripod shots you're going to be able to have. You're going to be able to. Tripod is super important if file that I showed you in the picture. The Fox Pro podcast. John Collins from Fox Pro hosts the Fox Pro podcast. You can learn everything and more if you really are serious about learning. And MFK is also a great notes that he raises, and most of the sounds. There's also a ton of other resources out there. Vision, I guess we'll get Tom back.
Actively hunts coyotes. Pretty interesting, right? Do in the late summer. Coyotes, which is from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Remember one of my friends that from Harrisburg, he actually came. We're going to do that next, but let's just try to stick to just the coyotes here. Hold on just a second. I am going to have you use.
Okay. Yeah. How much?
I shoot so many of them.
Question, and it's as an agency is average pelt price up, but we don't see very nice. What we see a lot, midwinter as they go into breeding, better coyote. So ours are not as valuable, but most of them are not quite as valuable.
What's a shoot around here are not worth keeping.
My one question is places, considering wind.
wind, depending on the distance I have. I worry about them smelling me. So if I can put the very few times am I putting it past.
Both fellas, it's a good demonstration here. But I got a lot of good fields around, and it's 11 o'clock. Somebody shooting deer. Should you that you don't?
I have as a coyote hunter. I have a suppressor, so but when there's a truck driving down a dirt road, thought recently to some sort of magnet or something, people run out and shoot at me, not thinking I'm a coyote. What the heck are you doing? And I'm like, I'm this person. Questions benefit to just say, hey, this is, don't really think too much when they hear gunshots, but we play it safe.
Yeah, definitely a good text message to some neighbors is good.
Pictures of the one over on the left. Thing was about 8 inches long and wide.
On their size, like Austin had straight line. If the scat, no, generally it'll fall. Sometimes a little thicker. Usually say when it drops, but it's usually a. There's a couple of things there that you can kind of.
Legally, you can hunt them 24 hours a day, but yeah.
You could be.
That's due to my schedule and my 3-year-old.
And one more thing, what
grain ballistic tip. That 223 is fine. First one 2 weeks ago, and with a ballistic. We ended up having to locate the coyote and disintegrated and never. 223, 223's killed, gonna die. I would suggest hides. Those is the gun of my choice. One, because I like AR platform.
Quick story, we were doing some scouting out, and we actually went out into a field in the evening. I mean, right in the evening, and sure enough, they had some action there. So
I believe, Tom, you...
Great, about 10 square mile.
Below my coyote come running across the field about 3 o'clock, always there. So... two, hills up. I mean, it's like hit and miss as far home empty-handed too, so.
More than empty-handed, more than none.
Oh, okay. One day, 2 days. So that's why I was just curious. So,
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Out there. So if I wanted to hunt, I come home empty-handed. That's just hunting. At the one spot, I've shot 8 coyotes this year.
where are those spots? No.
Want to be more successful and with less time actually hunting.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of that just so we're probably within our home range. I go from Carlisle to Harrisburg. Miles, but then where is the heaviest resources for them? Where and they're going to spend the most time there, but collar data and I'm ranges to set traps in, and I'm sure Austin locations the best cover where they're in on how far they're
Basically, that's just it. Are they packed?
in the Northeast. The eastern coyote is. Wolf leaves a pack, is likely not going to survive, and that's there's an alpha male and female, and then you have some non-breeding subadults here. And again, it's very seasonal. And again, too, remember about a third of and that may be what you're seeing on your property. 40 miles away, the next.
Two questions and for all. Group Austin, walk us through the process and pick them up, or when do you? The question is if a guy is through the process, whether we work.
Grab the carcass. Be safe to say 70. So I've long, so I'm not anything else in the area because there's a good to me. It's time basically.
Bother the others coming in at that point.
No, they're gonna want to come back and see what's 4 out of the 5. Through the process. Corn was cut. It's probably October if I had to guess. Them about 125 yards, and they're all shoot. First one goes. Another one goes to the left. I shoot it, and the rest of the next one comes out. I shoot it. Stress mouth call just to change it up. So they're not thinking, oh, that's a dead. You feel that they aren't coming back in. And don't shoot at running ones because I can't say I haven't shot running ones, but again, you can really start to look at the body language. Running, it's just learning when.
As a fur buyer in height to skin, and tutorials, but it's better if you can find somebody to show you the first one. Then you have a hole in the hide, and that makes it you do a lot less pulling, a lot more cut. A friend that puts coyotes up fairly frequently. And just have them do it. Actually be able to close that hole up for you before it goes to the tiger if it's not put up carefully. Take the time on the front end to really with it rather than use that as your first.
And one more, whoever's
Charge the projectile. You were okay. What about?
I'm using the Hornet Hornady designing them to fully 2,800 feet per second. Absolutely disintegrate the inside. I mean, designed specifically for predators.
Thank you. Like a newly mowed hayfield or
Yes, that honey hole at night, he mowed his field and then got it. So yeah, they know.
With your farmer friend. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so Fox Pro was gracious enough to donate some. Anyone who's familiar with coyote hunting. That's the call I have here. That's right around there. So if one of you guys, officer.
My ticket in here?
Yeah.
44.
You can go on up.
6079. Throw it back in. Two.
You could raise your hand. We'll just bring it. Hats.
6047. $6076.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Fox Pro is based at
6061.
All right, we have two sets of
032.
and everyone's right there. All right, the remote call you can upload, and it goes up to 30. So it's a good client.
All right. I don't know yet. Well, you're up. So wanted to just take a couple minutes here before our officers, our wardens, and our people should be looking at, talking about.
Biggest change we had this year was Sunday hunting. Hunt Sundays all the way through. All of the deer season ends on a Saturday, not a Sunday. You can hunt waterfowl or anything migratory. On the junior, senior, disabled, that's getting some phone calls on Sunday saying, ooh, big change up we've had. You can now hunt DMAP and DMAP only with a rifle. That DMAP harvest tag, you can use a rifle with that because it's one or the other.
Be aware of.
Well, good evening. To bring out be
sure you read the regulations.
Private property and written permission.
Private property. You must have in your possession that you have permission to hunt there. People do not. Just more hands. Office and saying we've people on private property. So, all happy to see that finally the legislature, some are different, aren't
They allow it, depends on the state park. I know this year because of a legislative change. Now it's up to the from the start of squirrel season, which happened.
Questions in a minute. We want to make sure.
Education supervisor, Shauna Burkett, and a lot of the parks that went out, they said they're going to. So if you're going to hunt in a. Does that answer your question?
question back here?
Here, let me get you a microphone, okay?
I'm back.
Jace, my mother.
Technically, yes.
The conversation.
And your next door neighbor or anyone.
I will say we have had. It creates a whole mess.
All right, right here in the back.
Tom?
So lease, like through a timber. Technically, the membership wouldn't be the landowner.
At least is your permission slip, essentially.
Essentially the same. We have a group of neighbors that hunters worried about. They may get pissed at me. Saying,
As far as like when we get called and when that really comes into play is trespass. When I get permission, and
with it. So thank you.
Yeah, until you have to worry about it.
But there again, you can go visit with your friends and pass.
Digest, there's like a generic permission.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a Sunday permission. In previous years, it was just written permission. Hey, give so-and-so. It would be good enough.
Yeah, yes, it is just. Well, okay, then.
Every year, done every year
Yes.
would be.
Issues is, yeah, last year they had permission, but between last season and property, when they were told not to.
The actual question was about CWD. There's a blob in Lycoming County. It looks like it's gotten big. And what's the deal with CWD at a time, sad to say.
I was like, wait.
I will go on. You've heard about where it stemmed, similar to Mad Cow, where they were feeding levels up in the deer, and then, of course, it could be a myth, but.
Well, I mean, scabies is a goat. But the CWD is specific to it. It did come from, it's slowly been spreading, but it's originated in one tested pop, just kind of lock down the area and just monitor it from there. But as of right now, are monitoring. That's why we have in those areas the CWD dumpster. You can remove the head, put it.
Is there anything in the area? Let's say, there's quite a bit of states that have to get tested, or
It does. You think it might have to, or you're concerned about it? They're there for.
Okay, thanks.
For the permission slips for Sunday hunting, does that apply to predators? Still need to get a permission slip for them?
I believe that there are seasons. It's Sunday hunting, so. There are other law enforcement or someone's coming.
Yes, I noticed Austin shooting a coyotes with that.
Predators you can hunt.
Very much.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
Any other questions? All right. Any closing remarks?
I don't really have any. With these new regulations, they all take so much time. A lot of the rules that are applied to for us to implement. So it was just like Sunday hunting, and they gave us permission to go ahead. Those types of, I'm sure I said this last year, please the commission copy of them. That when you send it's not humanly possible before one of the meetings. All done. Thinking. That's the reason we're there. Well, I know how it affects you. Have some special privileges. Or way back in the back of the woods there, and thought you had probably 50 years ago, isn't it? But every one of those thank you.
Sunday hunting in the future. There are no Sundays for those, you know what I mean?
Hunt Sunday hunting, and as the whole commission, how had the license we finally decided less complicated is to just say we'll take a look at everything that's for next year. We'll have so this is experiment. It's going to happen with 6 more days of turkey hunting. We don't for grouse, any of those types of that's how we feel, at least. Be surprised if you we may find it didn't make the percentage of people are going to hunt. Oh, is how many licenses we sell, harvest or report. Automobile, but we'll just have to wait and see how this. So, does that?
changes in the you said a public drawing. It's written.
Do you have any input on?
It's a random drawing, but they do.
No.
Yeah.
It was. Sound right?
Yeah.
And back and forth and so forth. We agency that does, and you get your name, you know, X number of times. So when you say public, it isn't like that. And they had a big barrel, pretty balky, and pulling it out of.
In wondering if it's in looking for. It's all a rumor until it's in law.
A close friend of mine. I'm sure that's true. Changing the big first, coming up with some other suggestions, and I've heard, and they're saying. You get one more day close. Or more people. And I was a high school. The person said to me, he said, you know, practice, and they have this practice. Even though it starts on Saturday, everybody has a cause. I'm sure it's going to get kicked around some more. I don't think now, until we see what happens now with this Sunday thing. What it might affect.
I don't really have a question here. I just want to have a comment. To see the Saturday now from family, you know. I realize there's people. Eight or 10 hunting camps on our road now. I'm happy with it, you know, Saturday open. You know, that's the way it is. But I'm, you know, it gives people more opportunity. Busy life schedule.
Sitting as a commissioner, I would say every time for more people of the commission today.
Fire trucks going pell-mell on the deer population.
Very, very good. Okay. I think so. But or not.
I've seen more road kills over the
wrong by that either. Looking into that and under where there is gas.
Night, normally on roads, but now they're hit on that road I live on.
You kind of keep separate from your population. I mean, a lot. So obviously, with more deer, more traffic, heavier traffic. These trucks. Is it significantly, if those anecdotal things, we're seeing it, but is it substantial? off something Commissioner DeMar. Agency or the agency's policy. You can complain to me all day, that's fine, but understand it kind of.
I would agree with that.
Called passing the buck.
Obviously, we're coming into hunting season here, if anything, poaching. Is you can call us if you have to hear a lot is, oh, this has been happening for 4 or 5 never called in. Better
Challenge you to think through over the this deer season, hunting season, is what is that ripple effect going to be in your life? Is there a way that we can and you can teach them this sport? If you can, if you're part, it may, be important. Legislature, we can't do that. We can put all the tools in place for that to happen, but this legacy you could introduce to this, that you could spend some time with this year. Introduce them to what we all know to be please think about how you can do that. And also thank you so much for the opportunity to represent to do, and I try to do my best. Mission goals and our core values that we please bring them to us. And now they're happening all over the state. I was just talking to a legislator one of those too. So we're ones out there. So please reach out. Questions and engage with. We want to do that.
Much bigger crowd for that.
Shout out to our media guys here early today to get all this set up. We were that happen, so thank you guys for doing that. Also want to please stop in, give them a call. People ask me questions. Seneca, Tara, any of them. We're a team. We work together. So thank you. The other round of applause for catching the bat.